Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We have a Canadian blended whiskey with natural flavor called Rich and Rare. It's rich, I guess. Rare, it's so rare you can get it at Walmart. Kind of like Scoresby. So rare, it's available at Walmart. All right. Well, hey, that's the name. Been on the market since 1962. It's part of Sazerac these days. They've made a career out of acquiring a bunch of brands, low end, like this one, or even lower, maybe like Royal Canadian. But Royal Canadian is probably the same price if you get the 750. And high end, like their efforts, their not ownership, but let's say partnership with Pappy Van Winkle and their own products, Eagle Rare, Buffalo Trace, so and Blanton. So they try to cover the whole spectrum, high to low. All right. And I think Sazerac's biggest thing is probably their flavored items like Fireball whiskey, liqueur, really not really a whiskey, but it's listed under whiskey, and all their just their liqueurs. Look up their website and you'll see all these cordials and liqueurs. It's incredible. I've hardly tried any of them, maybe one. But people must like them. Now we're going up against a 1998 introduction, Seagram's VO Gold. This was introduced at the end of the life of Seagram's. 1998. The Seagram's company imploded in the year 2000. They had a lot of debt because they bought out a lot of people, amusement parks, magazine companies, everything. And then it just collapsed. Kind of like Stroh's Brewing, who wanted to go buy all the struggling companies, but they had so much debt. They got bought out by a struggling company, Pabst. And I think Pabst Brewing is still struggling. Look at their websites. It would be, say, spring cleaning. Well, yeah, fall starts Saturday, so you might see that for the next 6 years. You get on Schlitz website and it'll say temporarily down for spring cleaning. That happened with Miller, with their Miller Genuine Draft website. For years it said temporarily down. Then they just ended it, and it's, you can only find out about it on Miller Coors. Oh, well, all right, enough of that. Unfortunately for Seagram's VO, it was discontinued in 2017. You can still buy it because there's warehouses full of it, but it's no longer being produced. Once the current stock is dissipated, then that's it. But it shouldn't be too difficult to find it. All right, Rich and Rare, $7.49 at Walmart. $7.49 at Walmart. VO Gold, about 23 bucks, 23, 24, $25, depending on which store. Like I know Winn-Dixie was having a sale. What was it, $23.95, and then Mathern's had a $22.95, and it kind of like, it's almost like you would think that the stores take turns. Say, well, I know you said that's not allowed. That's collusion. I know that. I'm just saying it seems that way, that they take turns putting stuff on sale. As you know, I support free enterprise, so I don't believe in those type of laws, anti-collusion laws and anti-trust laws. You know that. You know, free enterprise with the emphasis on the word free. I used to teach that class in high school, free enterprise. I used to laugh to myself. I'd say, we're teaching free enterprise, but yet what we're teaching isn't free enterprise. It's, hold on, I'll be right back. What we were really teaching was a mixed economy, socialism slash crony capitalism, you know, and government private collusion, private entity government collusion. But anyway, all right. You say, don't start another rant and rave with Ronald. I'm not. I could, though, and I might on my anti-war channel do one about free enterprise. Okay, now, rich and rare. I thought so. Well, they both have nice alcohol eggs. You get that. You know, you get that with liquor. It makes little drips down the side of the glass. But then you get that with beer, but that makes lacing. The foam clings to the side of the glass heavily, or with something like a Seagram's Escapes, a beer. It is a beer. It says on the bottle, flavored beer. You won't get any head retention. The bell has rung. Time for tasting. Now, the rich and rare is obviously lighter. I poured too much. It's a lighter shade. This one here, the Seagram's VO Gold, is a deep gold, a burnished gold. The rich and rare has some aspects of straw. In fact, straw. You say straw? Yeah. You know, some beers will look more straw than gold, like Rolling Rock. Somebody was talking about that on a video review yesterday, how Rolling Rock is so pale. Well, that makes sense because it's sold as a very pale lager. Now, a $7.49 bottle versus a $22.95 bottle, you would think that it isn't going to be much of a challenge. And that would be my assumption as well. But you never know. Sometimes you can get well fooled with these things. I got to tell you, you can get well fooled. But I assume I would get it correct. But you know what? That's why we do the blind taste test, because you've seen me get it wrong before. William kept, but I set myself up last night. It was kind of funny, though. And I wasn't serious anyway. We were doing a hangout and they were asking about, we got an argument about Mexican variety packs. And one guy was talking about how he got a variety pack and he named the beers in it. And I said, well, it couldn't be the case because that's two different companies. That's Cuauhtémoc Moctezuma, Heineken, Mexico, and Grupo Modelo. And they would not, I mean, I guess they could do like a DC Marvel team up crossover, but I said they wouldn't combine that. And then he checked. First he insisted, then he checked. He said, you were right. And I joked around. I said, if I tell you the moon's made out of cheese, bring crackers. And then William Kepley said, there's some holes in your cheese. I said, Swiss cheese, right? That's what I didn't say what kind of cheese, but I was trying to weasel out of it, you see. He said, you stated in the Pilsner Urquell Duo review that it was aged in wood barrels, but it's only aged in wood barrels in their parallel brewing program. And I said, oh, ha, 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 well, what do you mean, William? And he explained it to me, and that they do the parallel brewing. They use the old method, the aging of wooden barrels, in comparison to the modern stainless steel tank method, and they taste both. And as long as they're indistinguishable in flavor, then they keep doing the modern method, which is more cost efficient. They can sell it out to the rest of the world for a low price, relatively low price, right? Like Mathern's has Pilsner Urquell for $8.99 right now, a 6-pack, which is a good price. So, hey, well, sometimes you get taken down a notch. I do a lot, but I'll admit it. Some people can't admit it if they're wrong. You know, they're so prideful. Pride comes before a fall, right? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You know, hey. But if I'm right, I'm right. Okay. Right. Now, with this taste challenge, I have a feeling, my hypothesis is if I smell and taste these two liquors in a blind taste test, not knowing which is which, then I will be able to firstly distinguish the two from one from another. And secondly, I will prefer the Seagram's VO Gold, which is aged at least 8 years. The youngest whiskey in that mixture is 8 years old. The rich and rare, I don't think it has an age statement, but it's probably the minimum, 3 years. But and it probably has much less whiskeys blended in. The Seagram's VO Gold, I think they talked about so many different whiskeys. Oh yeah, it's grain whiskey mixed with pure malt whiskey and rye whiskey and all of that business. But all right. Smells like I got to be careful not to look. Let me mix it up again, because I have a feeling if I glance that pale color is gonna give it away. The rich and rare, and I don't want to. I have no incentive to cheat. If I lose, I lose. I'm not gonna sit there and manufacture a victory so I can say, "Look at me." Okay. It smells like strong grain alcohol. You say, what does that mean? They take a lot of corn grits, almost certainly yellow corn. They take dry corn and then they pound it with a huge mallet is what they do. And they grind it, a mill, they mill it into corn grits. All grits is granulated corn. And then they distill it. They distill it to the hilt, to it's almost 100 proof, 200 proof, almost 100% alcohol. And then they add the rye whiskey, the barley whiskey, the maybe wheat whiskey, and then other flavorings with rich and rare, brandy, rum, American bourbon, some wine, probably some kind of blending sherry, and then they come up with this concoction. It is all natural. They may add caramel coloring in Canada. They don't have to disclose it. In the USA, they do have to disclose it. Different regulations. The rich and rare could be the same story that I just told you, but at a higher quality level. You hear what I'm saying? And for that matter, the Johnny Walker Blue Label could be that same story at a much higher quality level. That's why it's $250 a bottle, $250. See, so they're blending in whiskeys for the Johnny Walker Blue Label that are from companies that are no longer even in business. That's how old some of the whiskeys are. And it could be an incredible amount. And they're the most select. You say they choose the best of Scotland. Yeah, and even most of those don't qualify. That's how high level that is. But then you're paying $250 a bottle. It better be good. I mean, like way better than normal. Like way better than normal. Now for $7.49 a bottle, you say, well, you ain't getting a whole lot. Oh, well, okay, that's true, but you paid $7.49 a bottle, so don't get a Chevy Cruze and think you're getting a Chevrolet SS. That imported from Australia. Hudson rebrand. I think it's a Hudson rebrand. I don't even think they make it anymore, or they do over in Australia. Don't get a Chevy Cruze and think you're getting a street legal, muscle car. But yeah, I know you can get a Chevy Cruze RS or a Sport. I'm talking about a basic Chevy Cruze. Well, I mean, I don't need to make that analogy. I mean, anybody with a brain knows that. Why am I sitting there wasting time with that? Okay. It's got some pungency. I'm picking up almost like, and I've talked about this with other Canadian whiskeys in the past, this honeycomb. Yeah, and even honeycomb cereal, because what does honeycomb cereal use? Grains clumped together. with flavoring. It's strange. This one has a pungent nose, but it's more like, I don't know what it's like. It's wood. There's wood. There's really not so much wood over here, but there is some background flavoring things. I'm thinking even oats. You say oats, he's really flipped out now. Yeah, I haven't really flipped out. I'm just trying to get these aromas down pat, and it's very difficult. If you've only tried American blended whiskeys, and you could spend years just challenging those, and you wouldn't have to spend a lot of money generally. But if you go over to the Canadian whiskeys, it's a different dimension almost. It's so different. It's so different. Okay, now at this particular moment, as I walk through the halls of karma, they're a lot closer than I had believed they would be. Much closer. So I'm a little discombobulated right now. But the tasting is where it could the true colors come shining through. So don't be afraid. I think this one, well, let me tell you, I think initially this might be the VO Gold because I'm getting more wood, but I'm a little perplexed now. I'm a little shook, as they like to say on urban television. But maybe I'll get woke, as they like to say on urban television. I know you're saying, oh, that's a euphemism. I love to watch these TV shows. Everybody uses euphemisms to mask what they're thinking. Doesn't really work too well. Oh, golly gee. That's a lot of grain whiskey there, boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. That made me think of McCormick. Oh, whoa, that made me think of Albertson's blended American whiskey. Oh, because it uses oak. You say you're not supposed to be picking up those kind of things. I know, but that's what I'm getting. Awa Chihuahua, as they say. Okay, kids. Now, I want to retract some of what I said earlier. Now, this one over here is starting to taste like the VO Gold. But golly gee whiz, dang, and whiz bang, and all of these expressions. Oh, I'm picking up a lot of grits. Tastes almost like white hominy grits, but that can't be the case that they gave me. I'm trying to walk softly through the desert sands and careful where I tread, but this has got me in a bad situation. But I'm going the distance. I'm not weaseling out of this one. Gabe says hi. Keto Endurance says, Jesus, early laugh out loud. Yeah, I know. Oh, there's the daylight coming. That's why it's a Dawn Busters. All right, now watch. notice in this particular video production, at this particular moment, I'm having trouble telling them apart. You say, well, that's not arguing too well for the VO Gold if you paid $22.95, which I did, and you paid $7.49 for the rich and rare. That doesn't argue too well for the VO Gold, and you can't distinguish them. That's right. If you get different ideas in your mind, you got to test them out with these blind taste tests. Boy, these blind taste tests could throw you for a loop. Beer, wine, or liquor. Let me tell you, beer, wine, or liquor. Now, I don't usually do the beer too much anymore because I've exhausted. I've done so many in that realm. Oh, progressive discussions. Krampus is leaving now. Well, I thought Krampus was coming more towards in the Christmas season, but we're going to see if Krampus shows up. I was a little confused by what you meant. Honestly, I was thinking about Krampus this morning, but I got a little mixed up. If he wants to make an early season, appearance, though, we will be very open to that. The idea sounded good for him to appear. Oh, well, he can't be serious and professional at this time, hour of the day. Goodbye. Oh, I think he could be both. I think Krampus could be both. Okay, now, I thought he might appear more towards the December realm of the situational calendar, specific barometric pressure. Okay, now, time to make the discernment. Wow. I'm not trying to go long, but I can't get it straight on this. I think rich and rare might be a lot better than people had first believed. You know, Krampus, I was expecting more of a December appearance, so I was confused, and there was no disrespect to and I could be tormented by Krampus for appearing to disrespect Krampus, and I would be very afraid, very frightened of that.
Yeah, no, I came especially from the Black Forest of Bavaria because I want these little American monsters, these coddled, spoiled monsters by their yuppie parents that give them everything to know that Krampus is ready for December. But it's not about the children. It's about fine liquor. And Krampus is tried a very good product from your country, which I'm not too crazy about because your children are all spoiled monsters. Yeah, it's a Heaven Hill in the black label, 40% alcohol by volume, 80 proof. Okay, it's not bad. It's not bad for American whiskey.
Well, I was already terrified because I was having trouble telling a $7.49 bottle apart from a $22.95 bottle. So now I'm I'm much more intimidated at this particular moment in time.
Intimidated? I'm a big fan of yours. What's the matter with you? You don't be like these other doomcuffs out there in the United States. But this is very good. I have to use a straw because I have a demonic face that's a little difficult to drink.
Yeah, I was just mentioning how I was trying to walk through the halls of karma. But I will give it a taste challenge in just a moment, but we'll try to hope for the best.
I like that sound. Okay.
All right, I'm ready to call it. I'm going to say that the one in my left hand could be your right. You know how it's reversed. I think this is the rich and rare, and I think the one on my right is the Seagram's VO Gold. But I'm very, 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 very shocked, surprised, because Sazerac did something that I never had dreamed they could do. They took a $7.49 bottle, and it rivaled a bottle that was 3 times the amount. So it's very shocking. And that just goes to show you that you don't know until you try it. That same rule applies to beer. You can get out there and try to show off and say, I paid $22 for this 6-pack, and you dumb, you only paid $6.99 for that Genesee Cream Ale, which all people know is trash and garbage. But yeah, well, yeah, sure. But if you're not going to get on there and do a blind taste test, you might not want to be out there stunting and showing off. But anyway, so I'm going to say this is rich and rare, and my confidence level at this point is particularly low. It is rich and rare, though. Thank goodness. I thought that little flavoring, and it was probably rum that was given it, because they can add rum to Canadian whiskey. That tipped the scale. But I cannot get on here live on air and say honestly that the VO Gold is appreciably better. So I would not pay $22.95 for the VO Gold if I had the opportunity to pay $7.49 for the rich and rare. And I have to call it that way. And I'm sorry, folks. I know the rich and rare is not aged anywhere near 8 years like the VO Gold, but the flavor, the taste of the two is not that far apart. So we got to call them like we see them now. I don't know what Krampus says about all this, but
I always respect the opinion of this man right here. He has the greatest fermented beverage critique show in the universe, in the the universe. That's better than the galaxy, of course. But you get an education from this man. He's not a Dummkopf, and I respect his opinion. But this Heaven Hill is the fantastic bang for the buck. It's a great value. But I'm listening to this gentleman being educated.
now you see, sadly, we cannot get the Heaven Hill bourbon whiskey in Louisiana. We can only get the Heaven Hill blended whiskey, which is I'm sure quite inferior to the straight bourbon. Now, Maxwell, who lives in Russia, in Moscow, of all things, he says, greetings to you, Maxwell. He says, why is he wearing a mask?
That's not a mask. This is my real face. I'm a demon.
He said he heard that. He said he heard the accent. Where is he from? Well, he's from the Black Forest. He says, Maxwell, from the Black Forest.
Krampus. You never heard it. Look up. You have Google. What is your search engine in Russia? Look it up. Krampus. What do you expect for a show in the dark? You expect a bunch of angels of light flying around?
I think I'm going to try to, in the upcoming episodes, have an appearance from Bashar al-Assad, the president of Syria. But I don't know if the president of Syria will come on to this channel, but I would like to arrange that. And I'm entirely serious about that. But I have a feeling I will not be well received if I do make that effort.
I definitely would like to breathe in. I would like to smoke some of that nerve gas he likes to use over there. I think I can use a hookah, Middle Eastern hookah pipe, water pipe, and maybe smoke. I'm a demon. I can do things like that.
Right. Well, either the nerve gas he's using or the nerve gas the rebels use when it's convenient, when they're about to get beat in various battles. But anyway, ha 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 ha.
So what happened? I heard in the news Stormy Daniels was describing Donald Trump's penis in detail. Is that true, Stormy Daniels?
Well, I would never want to go into that area and this examination. Hey, well,
okay.
Krampus,
yes, sir.
You did a product that I cannot get a hold of. You see, he brings up demonic topics, and then he influences me to bring up demonic topics, and that I don't want to fall under his influence. But I don't know if you can get to Rich and Rare, but I have a feeling you can now. On October 3rd of 2018, we are going to examine Rich and Rare as a group. It's a perplexing item. You know, it's the 19th, true story, the 19th best-selling whiskey in the United States. But yet, a lot of people are just oblivious to its existence. But it's been lurking around on the bottom shelf of liquor stores for 56 years. I repeat, 56 years. And it's a bizarre item. And for it to be able to rival a product that's 3 times its cost or retail price is really a shock. But anyway, it was a fascinating taste challenge. I didn't expect a demon to show up, but you never know what will happen when you do these dark, murky examinations at these crazy early hours.
I watch your shows, and I like your friend John from Georgia. He's very educational also, just like you.
Yeah.
You know, you have fantastic shows, the #1 shows. Now that guy in the United Kingdom that disrespected you a while ago, I'm going to visit and torture him. You bastard, oh, wait till Krampus comes in December. You disrespected the great J. Tyrio. Well, your day will come. But
yeah.
This guy is the best.
Yeah, that hurt my feelings. But
that's right.
I received an alert that was going on. But anyway, these things do happen. There is a dark side of the beer world. There's a guy in New Jersey, Krampus. His name is James, and he found out about the dark side of the beer world. It exists because you have people that have a lot of misery, personal misery. And what is the old saying? Misery loves company, you know.
That's true. And there's also something called sour grapes and penny wise and pound foolish. You know, people that I see many examples of that. James is okay. I mean, he tries his best. He's not a connoisseur or hoity-toity expert, but you know, I saw him with that Polish porter yesterday, and it's pretty potent. It's a potent porter.
Yeah, I could see that he was becoming exuberant with it. I had a little exuberance myself when I started bringing in the straight bourbon whiskey from Kentucky during the video, but I mean, I kept it under control, more or less. Thank you. But and that was a very, very fine bourbon whiskey. Also from Sazerac. Sazerac, a family-owned company, seems to have of course, Heaven Hill's family-owned, also seems to have a talent for taking a sow's ear and making gold with it. Well,
you know, I mean, I'm a nice demon because I have a positive purpose. I punish spoiled, rotten, coddled children that are monsters all year round. So it's not that I'm not that bad of a demon. But anyway, you know, James is pretty cool, but I always watch your shows. Heaven Hill, people, not to digress, is a very good bargain in bourbon. I'm telling you, look for Heaven Hill. This man knows all about the company. This man, J. Tyrio, or Ronald Tyrio, or J. Ronald, or Ronald J., or whatever, however he wants to call himself.
Right. Yeah. This goes to show you, folks, you can do a whiskey challenge at 5:50 a.m. or whatever, but you never know what's going to happen at these early hours. The most bizarre things occur. But that's just par for the course, I guess, in this crazy mixed up world we live in. And so get ready because in 2 days, we are planning to do another taste challenge. I have Rich and Rare going up against the whole Sazerac lineup that I currently own, which is Albertsons, Canadian Crest, Royal Canadian, and then Canadian Limited. So that should be very interesting, I think. What now, Krampus?
Hold on. I have a. I want to get. You know how pirates have parrots on the shoulder, but I have this guy over here. The Day of the Dead. Billy Bones. Billy Bones feels that you have the best show going also. You know, what do you want for a dark show? I mean, for God's sakes, you got no light, you know, I mean, you know, he likes you. What do you want?
I'm pretty.
All right, don't get too nervous. Don't get too nervous. But anyway, go ahead. Promote your future events.
I'm pretty nervous.
Don't worry about it. You look nervous. I know you.
But I tried to warn Krampus that I do own a Knights of Columbus sword, 4th degree sword. So I would warn him not to get too aggressive. All right, now I have ways of fighting back against these.
You are Knights Templar. You are a modern day Knights Templar.
Oh, no, I'm not part of that outfit.
Oh yeah, those guys were a little.
Yeah, I'm not part of that outfit. All right, folks. Thanks for watching this taste challenge, and get ready because in 2 days, that's the plan at least, God willing, we're going to do Rich and Rare versus Royal Canadian, a whiskey that's been on the market since 1934. 1934. Wow. Somebody likes it. Somebody out there likes it if it's been continuously produced for 84 years. And that's that. So y'all come back now. You hear?
Yeah.